Yes, yes, the drop with esedoc. It is December 10th, 2022. It is a Saturday in Las Vegas. Coming to you live. And I'm going to be breaking these videos down about like 10-minute, 10 to 15-minute increments, and just really trying to get specific on certain subjects, so we don't drag it out too long, straight to the point. This clip is about sneaky links. Sneaky links. And the reason why I'm touching on this is because I saw a post about this generation doesn't know anything about, keeping relationships together, being respectful, kind of like that old school view to relationships where like everything's normalized, just leaving somebody if you don't, feel the vibe or whatnot. And then, so in some cases, like it does merit you doing that for sure. So in some cases you do have to leave if you're in danger, if it's abusive, if you legitimately just made a really bad choice with a partner. And ultimately you still have to look at yourself because, at the end of the day, you chose this person, right? And at the end of the day, something attracted you to them and vice versa. So you have to understand those things, I think, before you just move on and then think your next relationship's going to solve all those issues, because it's not. You're likely going to repeat the same things with the next person. So, but yeah, sneaky links, right? Sanchas, right? This is not anything new. I mean, there's always been someone there to, I guess, kind of fill the void, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that, about the why behind it, because I've always been the kind of person that I need to understand the why of why something's happening, or something that happened. Why did it happen? Just for the sole purpose of understanding things. I've always been the kind of person that I took apart my toys and my electronics just to see how they worked behind the scenes, and I've always been that way. So I kind of like to dissect things. So sneaky links, right? I think the main motivator behind me wanting to talk about that is sneaky links know your partner more than you know them, and it's not just about sex. It really isn't. So that intimacy is goes beyond the physical. It starts out non-physical, i.e. when you have friends of the opposite sex that you speak with while you're in a relationship. And that's a whole nother game, by the way. And, this is something that, I had to kind of like learn later in the game, right? And I'll circle back and I'll touch base on that a little more. But that other person, right? That friend, or the person that you sneak with, or whatever, that person knows your partner more intimately. Why? Because that whole relationship is secret. Your primary partner doesn't know about that relationship. Yeah, we've all been kind of fighting coughs and ear aches and ear infections over here. I don't know how it's been in your neck of the woods, but it's been pretty crazy out here in Vegas. If you go to the ER, everyone's sitting there sick. So if you're sick, hope you get better. But so yeah, back to intimacy, right? So, this person knows your partner more intimately. In a sense, there's more of a real relationship there. It's much deeper. And I want to say that it's deeper for the partner that's in the relationship, maybe the female partner, the female person that's taking part in this, that it means more to her, right, than it does the guy, because the guy often wants to smash, and that's his pass to smash is his presence and hearing you out and telling you how horrible your man is, But I think for her, it means, so much more to really have someone there that you can share secrets that you don't share with anyone. It's like this person is sort of your therapist in a way, but they're free. Well, it's not free because the bill is due eventually at some point. But, and I guess it can go both ways. But the thing is that, for guys, it's like rare that, there's a man that's just seeking a emotional, connection. And I think that's why guys get so upset, when their girl is stepping out on them, because they immediately think sex, because that's how we function, right? Because, if you're out doing something, it's likely, sexual. You like this girl for whatever reason, but and I guess, I mean, there could be exceptions, but, for the most part, you can have sex with the girl and then you can just move on with your life, right? Unless you fall in love. But it's not likely. Again, we're just wired different. It's not that, we're not equal, but we don't experience things in an equal way. We have different hormones that we experience that guide us to do different things. So we're of equal value, but we don't experience things in the same way. So yeah, it's I think a very intimate relationship. And I really don't think it's something that's really healthy. Either way. In a sense, it keeps you from going 100 on your relationship when you're entertaining anyone else. And I get it, because even if you're not creeping on the side, even if you're not cheating, right? So even if you just have quote unquote friends of the opposite sex that you just talk to, it's like, no, well, I've known them forever. Or no, it's not like that. We're just, we go to school and we talk about Nietzsche, Freud, for my psych class or whatever. We just shared notes. I bet. So, but yeah, it's, it keeps you from going, 100 on your relationship. But like I said, I get it because it's an insurance policy, right? In a sense, you know, if your relationship doesn't work out, you've, got someone there ready to step in. And I see it more often where, a woman has many male friends. Now, this game can be run both ways, fellas. It's just, I don't see a lot of fellas that run that game. I think for the most part, you have guys that, really try to be monogamous. And I'm going to hear a bunch of crap about how not monogamous men are. And, you probably, you're probably right. There's probably a bunch of guys that are not. Right. But I think that's a minority. I think there's more guys that are willing to go in 100, especially if they're with a woman who they really want to be with, right? They're gonna they're not gonna entertain girlfriends, they're not gonna have that insurance policy, right? And in my opinion, I think that guys actually should, and I'll tell you why. Because it's so much easier, right? So if you think about insurance policies, and no one wants to be alone and no one wants to suffer, and even if you go through a bad breakup, you don't want to be alone, right? It sucks. So I mean, if you see it that way, it's like an insurance policy. You're talking to someone, and so if the things don't work out, you can just ease the pain with a friend. Hello, friend. I'm now available, so now we can move this relationship to the next level. And then, you don't, I guess, suffer as much, right? So, and this is something that, again, from what I've seen is that, women move more that way, and no disrespect at all, because it's a game. I just think it comes sort of natural, and a lot of guys get upset. And my purpose for wanting to talk about this is so no one's really caught off guard, It's like, you know the game, you know the rules, you know what's being played out there, because there's so many things that happen, from relationships, from, folks finding out that, their significant others stepping out on them, and people get killed, and people have suicide or commit suicide, and there's kids involved, and there's a lot of consequences to playing these games, very serious consequences, and it's not good for society. In the end, I don't think it's good for the individual. I don't think it's good for your kids, and I don't think it's good for the community as a whole. It's really not. I don't think so. I think that, if we're a community and we come together, right? If we're really a tight knit community, and, we want to rely on each other for our benefit and the benefit of our family, and, be supportive of each other's families. The last thing that you want to worry about is, someone else's, husband or boyfriend or whatnot, having an intimate, conversational relationship, with your girl, some secrecy and, behind the scenes, happenings, it breaks trust between, families, between homes. And like I said, it's not good for the community, that's the reason why, like the Italian mafia, that was, zero tolerance behavior. It's like, you don't fuck around with anybody's wife. So, yeah, but, in the end, again, if you're entertaining someone and you're in a relationship, you should probably rethink it. Rethink it, you know? Yes, it does suck to be alone if it doesn't happen to work out. But both parties should be giving 100%. Relationships are not 50-50. Relationships are 100-100. And there's no way in hell that you're giving 100 if you're giving any percentage of that to anybody else. There really isn't. So now, I'm not sitting here up here judging, right? Because things are going to happen, and I'm, this is just a voice that you're listening to, right? And even if your best friend is telling you, or your pastor, your psychologist, if you go to the therapist, even if they're telling you this, it's not likely that it's going to make a huge impact if that's how you move, right? But because everyone has needs, right? So it's not something that I'm going to demonize, right? But also, I mean, if you're partaking in this, you're not really giving your significant other an opportunity to fulfill those needs, right? Because obviously, you're just trying to fulfill a need, something that you're not getting. But if someone else is fulfilling that, emotional need, even if it's just a friend, that friend is fulfilling that need. You should be that friend in the relationship. Again, you see this more in the dynamic of the woman having the best friend, or he's bi, or if you hear that, fellas, that's a red flag right there. Okay, better investigate that real quick. But no, realistically, you more see that dynamic, and I think it's likely because women invest a lot when they get into relationships. I think they feel very deeply, and to a level that most men probably don't comprehend. Like, yeah, we're brokenhearted when things end, but likely we also were not as emotionally invested, as they were. So again, maybe that's why they seek to have that insurance policy, to kind of ease the pain somewhat. But again, at the end of the day, if you're really, really committed, you should strive and take steps to just be with your partner and learn to rely on your partner, and don't fear being dependent on your partner, because if you have a sneaky link or someone on the side or a friend, right? Let's say you don't have sex, right? You can say, hey, this person's just my friend. We don't have sex, but we're having intimate dialogue. Well, again, you're depending on them. You are dependent on someone, because you're not just figuring those things out on your own, or, with a really good friend of the same sex, which will give you, should give you objective advice. If I take my problems to a female friend, I really don't know what her intentions are. Maybe behind the scenes she really likes me, right? And since she already sees me as a friend, and I actually saw a TikTok where a woman was saying, hey, this guy's just, he's the guy that I'm with. He's my best friend. We just connect, and even via text, like we just connect. And so, that's it. All starts out with friendship. I should probably fear someone, not fear, but or see them as a threat, right? Like someone that connects on that level with them, because they've already got a key to the house, so they've got access to the property. OPP, you down with OPP? Other people's property. Yeah, so other people's property. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit possessive, because if you don't see somebody as yours, then you don't have anyone, and they don't have you, right? Healthy possessiveness. You are each other's property, but we're not property. We're people. So And I guess if you treat your property bad, you can judge people by this, right? You can see how well they treat their car, if they clean their car, if they treat their clothes well, how do they treat their property? That's a good indicator, right? So if you're single right now, and you're looking to see like what are some good, green flags or red flags or whatnot, see how people treat their property, because once you become their object, their love object, they're going to treat you the same way. So maybe that's a little bit of advice. So, but women out here, really. So if you're in a relationship, commit to your guy. Don't find a friend, or if you have one, I'd encourage you to rethink that. Of course, we all make our own choices, right? So, I'm not telling you what to do. But in the end, you're going to find that a lot of these gentlemen really did not have the best interest for you. And you were merely trading attention, maybe the attention that you couldn't open up to receive from your partner. And that attention and that validation that you were getting, and that good feeling, that good emotional feeling that you were getting from this other person. It's not reciprocal, it's just a setup for sex, which again, you probably want to, you probably want that part of it too, but in the end, you're again more emotionally invested than he is in this, and you're putting yourself in a position to be used and in a position to be hurt. That would be the end game to that. So again, everybody, just wanted to kind of kick that little bit of game. At the end of the day, do what you do. You got to do what's good for you. Don't necessarily follow rules. You got to know when to break the rules, and then when things are appropriate, when they're not appropriate. I just, at the end of the day, I just want to open up dialogue for us to understand each other better. Because again, it's not necessarily about doing one thing or doing the other. There's a whole why behind it. And I genuinely love everyone, and I want everyone to be happy and okay and have great outcomes, and that's why we have these conversations, to better understand. Okay, so again, this is esedoc, this is the drop. Much love and peace out.